forever. Working on character cleanup, yay, my favorite part. So if y'all are joining in this early Sunday, let me know. Apparently have a hair on my tablet. Get into doing cleanup for this. Also, sorry if there's noise in the background. I have my AC on because it is hot and it's only going to get hotter today, so I need it for very important reasons of just to not be hot. A bit of a heat wave coming next week, which not fun. Glad I got the AC anyway. Hello, thank you for coming. As I apparently coughed a bit. I had a bowl of cereal and the cereal is too tough. But yeah, hear noises. They're not music or me talking, it's the air conditioner going. Okay. Serial betrayal! Serial, how could you do this to me? Hello, hello, thank you for coming. Early morning. I haven't gotten all of the backgrounds done yet for this part, but I'm like, okay, I got them done for part 2. And since I already did some of the character art for this on stream last time, I'm like, okay, we'll focus on the character art for part 2 this time. Something a little different from last time. Yeah, Chris got drugged. No. It's bad. These guys all took surprisingly long to draw. I'm like, okay, it's a crowd scene with like a bunch of people wearing complicated masks. Shoot. I do this to myself. But yeah, so still working on the Sacrifice comic. This is the second part. So we went through the first part the other day. Oh, these are really pretty candles. No, unfortunately not that fun. Did you ever see, like, you know, apparently the way they thought quote-unquote laughing gas worked was like you couldn't stop laughing, you were uncontrollably laughing. And, I don't think that's how it works. But cartoons and comics made you think it was. I forget what the actual, like, chemical is that does that. I think it's kind of like a big relaxant euphoria kind of thing. I don't know why they call it laughing gas, because I don't think it actually made you laugh uncontrollably. Maybe it did like one person, but I don't think that's just generally how it works. Yes, hello, thank you. Phone. Yeah, maybe some people just laughed a lot when they relaxed. But my guess is that's not a universal thing. Seriously, what was the chemical for that? It's definitely not a drug. I think that's just like that is literally a gas that you can get from certain chemical reactions. Like, I don't even know if they use that kind of stuff anymore, just because, I imagine it's not very reliable. There's probably more reliable anesthetics they can use. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I've only been on anesthetics once when I got my wisdom teeth out. So I had to get all 4 of them out at the same time. And some of them were like coming in sideways and stuck inside like my gums. So they're like, alright, we have to like do actual surgery to take them all out, so we're gonna knock you out. And I was like, okay. And I was definitely out for the whole thing. Like, I remember the last thing I remember for the wisdom teeth was like, you know, they'd just given me the anesthetic, and then the doctor put on this heavy techno music, and I was like, why are you listening to techno music? And he's like, oh, it helps me work. And the next thing I remember was like it being in the car on the way home. Obviously I was not driving. But hello, thank you for coming. There's a whole bunch of these gosh darn complicated masks. Okay. I'm also gonna try to save often. I need something not that quite that big. Yeah, the whole I was drugged thing, I'm just remembering this one X-Files episode where it's a bit of a joke episode, and Mulder jumps up at some point and he's like, I was drugged! Just people are looking at him like, what? Oh, localized anesthesia is no fun, because it's like, I can't feel anything there, but still awake for it. Yeah, like dentists eat sweet foods too. They have their sugar coffee. Yeah, it was Bad Blood. That was the episode. That was a funny episode. You have to hold your mouth open the whole time. Ugh. I gotta go to the dentist next week, actually. Next weekend is my dentist appointment. Bleh. Although my teeth feel fine, so it'll probably just be a regular cleaning. Actually not sure if I'm gonna be doing more or not there, because last time I went I was supposed to have, you know, usually the nurse just looks at you and cleans your teeth and all that stuff. And last time I was supposed to be, you know, the dentist comes in and looks and is like, okay, what's going on? And he wasn't there last time. He was apparently at a conference all of a sudden. And like nobody was in the office except for the nurse and a receptionist, and that was about it. So I don't know if he's going to be there this time or not. But whatever. I gotta take care of my teeth. If you don't, it's expensive. I mean, it's expensive anyway, but it's more expensive if you don't. What is happening? So probably not the correct angle for this stuff, but we'll make do. Oh, tonsillitis. Oh, not fun. Bleh. You know, the worst I've had with my teeth is, you know, I've had like 2 small cavities over time, and they weren't that bad. Just had to fill them in and then replace some filling, which is never fun, but it's not like, oh, ow, ouch, ouch, ouch kind of thing. So take care of your teeth. Floss them. And brush. My little brother didn't take care of his teeth for a while, and it got expensive then eventually. I don't know if I'd like the mask for Calvin here, but oh well. That's a hard one to do with a mask. Reptile eyes go. Whatever. Oh, bottom braces. Oh. Dentist appointments everywhere. I could have gotten braces when I was little, but I never did. Actually, dentists are like, do you want, like, braces now? And I'm like, nah. Some of my teeth are a little messed up, but, like, it's mostly aesthetically. So, it's fine. They don't have to be perfectly straight and neat. Yeah, I usually, they tell me to go twice a year, so this is my second time of the year going. Oh, the line went through there. I don't know, maybe I don't need more than once a year, but I'm going twice a year, because that's what they signed me up for, so that's what I do. Yeah, like, I have some teeth that, you know, and baby teeth fall out, and adult teeth grew in. Some of them grew in a little lopsided, a little stuck against each other. So they're not perfectly straight. And again, it's mostly aesthetically. There's no pain involved. I eat and clean my teeth fine, so. Mostly they're asking, you want to do this for aesthetic reasons? I'm like, no, not really. Oh, thank you. It's pretty much just red robes and animal masks. And also the guys get flowers. Well, if their wives also have stuff. Flowers, antlers, gotta get the... Yeah, sideways eyes are cool. Honestly, don't mind when people put that on, like, the Dreamers normally for, like, normal fan art, because I'm like, oh, that looks kind of neat. Even if it's a little bit off-putting, I think that's cool in its own way. It's cool that it's off-putting. That's what I mean. It's hard to tell. Basically, they're supposed to be made of, like, the masks are made of, like, wood, painted wood and leather and, like, maybe some brass fixings or something like that. Probably pretty heavy, so. Ugh. I wouldn't want that on my face for a long period of time. Yeah. It's just, we're working on these. We're not going to show our kids, though. It's fine. Kids are too busy doing whatever kids do. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. Maybe somebody who's, like, big into the woodworking made all of them for them. I don't know who that would be. Who'd be the one doing woodworking? Yeah, a whole lot of flowers involved here. A little bit bigger. Asmore can provide the flowers. That's what he's good at. But, I don't know, maybe that's what Rudy does. Like, who would do woodworking around town? I don't know if we have an equivalent in canon. Got dust on my tablet. Get out of here. Get out of here. Undying. Yeah, I was debating whether or not. I'm like, should Undying be included in the cult? I don't know. And then people pointed out, like in Undertale, she was definitely willing to kill children for the greater good. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see her in this situation. I think that's compelling evidence. And she obviously would not like the Empire stuff anyway, so. Yep, she's here too. I don't think she says much, but gotta fill out the cast. New headcanon unlocked. Rudy does woodworking. I mean, don't get me wrong, Undyne is a super great character. She's very interesting. I wish we could see more of her in fan works, honestly. I include myself in that problem. Like, I love you, Undyne. You're very neat. And there's a lot of interesting stuff about her, but yeah, in Undertale, she was definitely willing to kill children. I think there's kind of some interesting stuff about, like, the theme of Undertale is not violence is always bad kind of thing, because Undyne is, like, obviously her trying to kill Frisk is a problem, but she is framed as a hero, even in, like, neutral roots and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like, oh crap, she was justified in this really terrible act because of how she believed things were going and all that stuff, and she probably also saw it as, well, I'm gonna do this also so that Asgore doesn't have to, because he's a nice guy. So, yeah. Like, she was killing children, and that was framed as, you know what, this is heroic, so it's interesting. It's honestly framed as heroic when, like, you're doing genocide route, and she's trying to stop everybody from dying, but even in, like, pacifist and neutral routes, she's not presented as, like, a horribly evil person or anything. She's definitely scary and is a problem, but she's not being painted as evil. Yeah. Asgore put himself into a bad situation and then had the opportunity to get himself out of it and didn't. And that was his problem, is that, like, he could have easily made, like, said, well, maybe not easily, but he could have, like, done the thing. It's like, okay, I made a mistake here. I spoke out of anger at losing my kids. I can't sustain this kind of revenge fantasy sort of thing going on. And the problem is that means he would have had to have dealt with, the people, the monsters that looked up to him and was like, yes, heck yeah, let's do a war kind of thing. And been like, no, I changed my mind. And some of them probably would have been upset about that. And he was ironically afraid of conflict. Like, if I just sit here, nobody else will have conflict ever. And of course that doesn't work. And that's, I think, what made Toriel so mad about it in canon. Like, yeah, the child murder stuff is very bad, but also there's more to it than that, because, again, Undyne is framed as heroic. Oh, I like Asgore too. Again, I don't think there's any characters I dislike. I like them all. I just find it interesting, his flaws. He's not a very good decision maker. He's bad at names. I like the fact that all the characters have these weird flaws and character troubles that makes them feel very real. And that's when they feel very real. That's why you feel bad about all the stuff you do in the game. That's what we call good storytelling and good character writing. Something that's remarkably hard to do, and I think I don't always succeed at that, but I try. Chris's head would actually be held up like this, but better than it just totally lolling back, which would be look weird. Asgore, your mask is really huge and complicated. Oh no, it'll warp back around to guilt. I've still never done a genocide run in Undertale. I don't want to. I just don't want to. I know Flowey can call me out for just watching as opposed to actually participating, but I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna do it. Same reason, same stuff with Eldritchrune and Weird Root. I don't want to play Weird Root. Somebody else can play it for me and tell me what happens. I just don't want to do it myself. Yeah. Hello, thank you for coming. Yes, my weekend was pretty good. I had a friend over yesterday. We hung out, we haven't done that in a while. And, now I'm doing this. Probably will go do the Pokemon Community Day in the afternoon. I gotta get back to work tomorrow on an episode that's probably gonna be really hard. Or at least a lot of work, so I'm like, oof. My weekend is almost over. And yeah, Undyne is definitely the hero in the genocide route, where she's like, I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna try really hard, even though it's a totally unfair fight. And I like how even in just like the first few chapters of Deltarune, we've already still got that sense of like character depth. And chapter 2 is like, oh, by the way, you thought Birdley was just annoying? Well, he is, but there's reasons he's annoying. They're sympathetic. Huh, that's true. Heck, there's like, and the thing is like, I think in certain routes, if you spare him, he will kind of kill himself. Like, it's really, like, I don't remember what the circumstances are that you have to get for him to basically be suicidal, but that is an option that can happen. Where Asgore will basically take himself out. So, he really does not actually want to follow through on his plan, but he doesn't want to tell anybody that anymore. So, poor Asgore. Oh, you have to kill Flowey and come back to the fight? Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember the exact circumstances for getting that ending with Asgore, but I know it, like, if you get into, like, neutral routes, there's just so many different things that can happen. It's kind of crazy. Oh, nice. More drawing time, yay! I'm gonna get less of that this next week, so I'm gonna have to work a bunch. But, yay for more! Yeah. So, Asgore was plagued with obligations that he just did not want to do. And I think he was actually, like, legit scared of absorbing all of the souls and turning into big monster god. Like, it sounds good on paper. Practice. And it also seems like the expectation from the monsters is like, oh, then you'll go and kill all the humans and we'll take over the world, yay! And he's like, I don't want to do that. Not affected by the strikes? Not that much, no. Not really. Because, one, Canada, and we don't have the same unions here that there is in the States. And 2, most animation stuff anyway is not in the same animation union. Like, animation writers are not part of the Writers Guild, they're part of the Animation Guild. So they get paid a lot less, which really is stupid and sucks, but that's the way it is right now until we can negotiate a better contract. And I think the same with a lot of voice actors, especially if they're Canadian voice actors. Not super affected by the strikes. Like, some animation projects are like really big ones, like, you know, if you work on Simpsons or Family Guy, that kind of stuff might have WGA writers, but like the stuff I work on, nah, that doesn't have WGA writers, that has animation writers. So, unfortunately, we're losing work for other reasons that are coinciding with the strikes, but not necessarily caused by them. Hello, thank you for coming, and thank you so much. I'm really glad Paper Trail, that you like Paper Trail. That was a little holiday thing for you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Green usernames. Oh, look purple to me. Yeah, I think even in like in the fan series Inverted Fate, one of the humans actually does just stay in the underground and lives until they die of old age for a while. So there's that. All right, we're done with character. We're off on this page. Yeah. Yeah, you would think writers are all under the same union, but they are not. Animation is special. But unfortunately, yeah, that unfortunately means that animation writers do not get paid the same as regular writers. Regular writers are already not getting paid that much, so it's really not great. Alright, thanks a bunch for coming by. Out of work. I'm keeping an eye on the clock here. Gosh darn masks, so it's taking a while. Yeah, animation is struggling for other reasons, namely this streaming bubble, and there are some other things where, because a lot of our work depends on animation in the States, and animation in the States is, especially 2D, is kind of on a slowdown for various reasons. Also just stupid CEOs are like, we're gonna release this and then take it offline like 5 minutes later so we don't have to pay anybody a single cent of residuals. God forbid. Whew, no worries. Need my water. Yeah, definitely like the animation union in the States has been like in a solidarity thing with you know, actors and writers. But issue is, like, animation can't sympathy strike right now because of our contract stuff, or their contract stuff. I'm not in the union. Where basically they can't do anything until they negotiate again, which is not until next year. So you're allowed to just join the, you know, hang out with the other strikers and show support, but can't officially do it. So I have seen a bunch of friends who are in the union joining there. No, not at all. No. So, no. There is a small subset of actors who get paid a decent amount, you know, millions or whatever. That is a very small percentage of actors. Most actors do not get paid that well. They get paid like around what the writers are doing. There are a lot more SAG members than just big names. And most of the time, it's like the writers where you have to take on second jobs in order to get by. You're just not getting that much. And heck, even like the writers or the actors who are being paid very well, who are in super high demand and get like millions of dollars, that's still not nearly as much as like a CEO is getting. But no, the vast majority of SAG members, of Actors Guild members, are people that are not getting a lot of money. Because there's a lot of things that need actors inside movies. There's movies, there's TV, there's commercials, there's, you know, small side projects, and all kinds of places where you do need actors, and they're not usually getting paid a lot. Oh, I haven't really read any Lovecraft, so I don't know. I just thought, you know, oh, this feels appropriate for them. This is very much more a fantasy-based thing than like what I did with the Kara Origins comic, which was a bit more... It was fantasy, but it was a little bit more grounded. This one is not very grounded. On purpose. Oops. The mute continues. Hello again. Oh, it is time for my break. Time to stretch my wrist. Real quick. Ugh. Gotta keep my wrist up. Yeah, it's just a break. I'm not stopping. We've only just begun to draw. I'll probably stop around noon or so. Hopefully, knock on wood that my computer cooperates and doesn't try and kabloop on me like it did last time, which was not great. So, computer, behave. No, I'm just stopping for a break. I try and take a break during the ad breaks so that I can stretch. That's Asgore. Asgore got the bigger mask, fancier horns. And all the flowers. Toriel is there, she just has a different mask. I need to get a Susie pin to replace the one I lost, so I'll have the full pin set. I'm missing a Susie, it's so sad. It's alright, some days you just start late. You know, it's frustrating, but it's... Alright, I'll be back for one more stretch. Well, the funny thing about Spider-Verse is that they did not give the artist time and money. Well, the thing with Thief and the Cobbler is that was very much a passion project for one particular animator. And it looks amazing. But the problem is those kinds of results just take a really long time to do, especially traditionally. Yeah, the problem with Spider-Verse is they did not give the artists the time and money they needed. Certainly not the time and money they deserved. Because their work looks really good. But it was crunched, and crunch is not good. Yeah, that's the problem. It's always the money problem. Is that you have sirens up there. Is that you have to pay money for that kind of thing in order to keep working. A bunch of people are like, I don't want to keep giving you money for this, which sucks because then you don't get to experience that kind of really long-term art that takes a while. As usual. And why I keep having character, that kind of angle with the upshot angle, because that's such a pain in the butt to draw. I do want to see the Thief and the Cobbler version that's closest to the artist original version of it, because some of that looks crazy good. Yeah, sometimes you gotta practice drawing angles and stuff. These lines all over their masks. Yeah, good way to warm up anyways, to do a bunch of simple shapes. That at least get your arm moving. I probably should do warm-ups, but I don't. I just jump in. I've headcaned that Mayor Holiday is being named Carol because of the C, but I think I saw somebody else say maybe her name is Clarice, like from the Rankin Bass Rudolph special, and I would also be okay with that because that's nostalgia from my childhood. I used to watch that Rudolph show all the time. One of our staples for this thing here. One of our Christmas staples. Yeah, we had that on tape too. And then we got finally, we had it on tape for a while, and we got the DVD. And realized they changed one of the songs. And we're like, what? This is not the same song that we heard growing up. When did they change it? And apparently the DVD version was how it always was. But the tape version, or the version on TV, is the one that had to change song. I don't know. Because the original song is the fame and fortune, we're off to seek them now. I guess the song that Herbie and Rudolph sing when they're leaving. And apparently, that song is changed to We're a couple of misfits. We're a couple of misfits, which I like the Fame and Fortune song better, maybe because I grew up with it. No, I do not think that Carol is Noel's sister. That would be weird. Yeah, if Mayor's name starts with C, I think either Carol or Clarice are good choices. I headcanon Carol right now just because that's what I'm used to, but at the suggestion of Clarice, I was like, oh wait, no, that's also good. Bit of a deep cut lore there. Speaking of other Christmas Carol stuff, like, they also, changed one of the songs in Muppet Christmas Carol. Apparently the theatrical version doesn't have the song When Love Is Gone. And I'm like, wait, why did you cut that song? That's actually a really important song. Like, the whole reprieve at the end, When Love Is Found, is a response to When Love Is Gone. Hello, Clarice. Clarice after practice. Yeah, Carol's more fitting name, but I mean, the Clarice is still related to Christmas stuff because in the Rankin Bass Rudolph cartoon that a lot of people, including myself and probably Toby, grew up with, Clarice is the female reindeer that Rudolph becomes friends with and then, of course, ends up marrying because that's how that goes. So Clarice is the little lady reindeer that marries Rudolph, so I think that would also work as a Christmas reference, even though Carol is probably more likely. Rankin Bass Rudolph's father voices Rudy. Rudolph, get back here, it's your turn, you know. We'll call him Rudolph. His beak blinks like a blinking beacon. I totally have that whole thing memorized. For some reason they had Rudolph's dad be Donner, which I don't think works for me, but it's a recognizable name. Though he does like his deep cut references, which is why I can see Clarice working. No. I've never actually seen Silence of the Lambs. So, I know that the main character is Clarice, but I haven't seen it. I think that won an Academy Award. Yeah, I'm sure it's very good. I just probably, I'll be fine without it. It's also unfortunately pretty transphobic, even though I say it's a very good movie, like, by all accounts. The acting and the stuff in it is just excellent. But it's just one of those things where, like, especially of the time period, had a transphobia to it a bit. Never mind the killing kids who want to join with a cool mask. Nope, nope, you can't have cool masks without killing the kids. That's the rules. You enjoy hurting other people. Yeah, I saw like part of Misery. I think I was kind of in and out of the room for Misery, that movie, and oof. I don't know if I could rewatch it. Just the scene where she breaks his ankles is really scary, and I don't like the part where she breaks his ankles. Like, she's a very funny and scary villain. Her just complete unwillingness to swear at all, coupled with absolutely unhinged. So, good performance, very scary. Yeah, there's a lot of transphobia if you look back on a lot of media. even a lot of really good media. That's the thing, is people, like, you can see some stuff that's like, oh, that's really transphobic. But this is also generally a good piece of media. Like, even Mystery Science Theater 3000, you know, one of my favorite shows ever. One of the most popular shorts that they did was the Mr. B Natural short, which is a very funny short that they did all this, you know, these jokes for. The problem is that they immediately follow up that short with a sketch that's just really transphobic. It's like super duper transphobic. It's uncomfortable. And I'm like, no, it sucks. You guys are normally very funny, but this aged like milk. Oh, she chops his legs off in the book. Oh my goodness. Yeah, at least they got to keep his legs in the movie. Just the breaking ankle scene is really, really freaky. Somehow saw that. And I saw how he, like, finally escapes in the end. That's a pretty, you know, tense escape scene. Yeah, it depends on the context for the stuff. Like, you can certainly appreciate, you know, I think it's important to know that kind of stuff happened historically, so you know why things are the way they are now, because history doesn't happen in a vacuum. Gotta be careful for that. She kills the policeman with her lawnmower. Wait, was that in the movie or is that in the book? I haven't read the book. We're talking about the Stephen King book / movie Misery, which is, yeah, it's by Stephen King, and it's about an author. He writes, you know, he's popular for doing like this series kind of about like a girl heroine, and he goes up into like the woods, cabin in the woods or whatever, to write his books, and then finally he decides that he's going to, you know, stop writing this character because he's really tired of writing it. He's going to write other novels, so he kind of has a final novel where he kills her off, and then he goes up to write his next novel, and he gets on the way back down after writing his new novel, he gets into a car accident, and he is rescued, quote unquote, by this woman who also lives up there and is his biggest fan, but she's not happy with the fact that he killed off her favorite character, and proceeds to trap the author in her house and torment him mentally, physically, burns his manuscript, stuff like that. And it's basically a horror story about what if you're a creator at the mercy of an angry, deranged fan. So it's very, very particular but very potent kind of horror. Yeah, she forces him to rewrite the books and all this other stuff. Again, she's a funny villain, but she is a very scary horror villain too. So that's Misery. I need to get back to that Stephen King podcast I was listening to where they were going through all the Stephen King books. No, this was Stephen King. You get to like how many things Stephen King has written, how much of that has been adapted into film, like either TV or movies or stuff, and it's really kind of insane. And yeah, she was forcing him to rewrite the book because he killed off the character that she loves. So she's like, no, you're not gonna write a new novel. You're gonna bring back my character and rewrite the whole book. He's extremely prolific, yeah. Not always for good reasons. At least a few decades ago, he was on a lot of drugs. That's not healthy. I think he's doing better now. So the one Stephen King book I've read a couple Stephen King books. We did it for a class once. The one thing I did read was The Stand, the full and uncut edition, which is like ridiculously long. It's so long, and I was like one of maybe 2 people in the class that read all of The Stand, complete and uncut edition. Yeah, there's some books he doesn't even remember writing because he was just like super on cocaine. One of those might have been Cujo, actually. I think Cujo was one of the ones he wrote when he was on way too many drugs. Yeah, it was Cujo. Which I think they made that into a movie too, so... Okay, I feel like the thumb is wrong on this hand. They're supposed to have their palms open like this. Yeah, I haven't read that much Stephen King. I did read The Stand, and I read Eyes of the Dragon, which was not really a horror novel. That was his foray into like just traditional fantasy. Yeah, like Stephen King has had a long career. He's been writing for literal decades, and part of his problems. Again, this isn't a problem now. I think he's gotten sober, but like probably back in the 80s, 70s, or 80s, or something like that, when he was writing some of his earlier novels. He was on a lot of drugs, and it was not healthy. And like I was listening to this podcast for a while about Stephen King's books, and I do remember that Cujo was one of the ones he like doesn't even remember writing because he was just on drugs. And Cujo's the one about a rabid dog. Probably a little bit of that misery too, honestly. Oh, the movie Orca. Isn't that basically like their take on Jaws, but with an orca? Thank you so much for subscribing! 4 months is a long time, thank you! It's gonna be so weird with all those flowers around here. Ugh. Ugh. But yeah, I read all of The Stand, somehow, because The Stand is an absolute monster. And, I read Eyes of the Dragon. Yeah, he wrote Christine about the haunted car. His first novel, I think, was Carrie, which is about, you know, obviously the girl with psychic powers kills everybody at her prom. Yes, he did Shawshank Redemption, which I have seen. I've seen the movie. Shawshank Redemption is a really good movie. I don't think there's anything really supernatural in Shawshank Redemption. It's just about, you know, prison stuff. Yeah, he did Stand By Me. Probably have the text stuff in the future. Can't quite tell what I'm doing, so. And The Green Mile. I remember when I think that came out in the 90s or something, the movie for Green Mile. I know there was like a, he did Tommyknockers, and I know there was like a miniseries adaptation for Tommyknockers. Chris is extremely freaked out because they're basically paralyzed and can't move. I'm just gonna get worse. Yeah, especially Stephen King stuff is ridiculously long. Again, I don't know how I got through all of The Stand. Which I think is his longest book. I think it's longer than it. No, I haven't seen Midsommar. I don't know if I should or not. Yeah. It also depends on the horror. Like, I can do some psychological horror stuff, that's fun. I'm not really big into, like, slasher horror, where it's, you know, gory and you kill the dumb people. So I haven't seen a lot of the, you know, famous ones like, you know, Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street or all those ones. I like watching people on YouTube explain internet horror. That's what I like instead. I'm like, yes, explain Local 58 to me. Yeah, I'm not super big into gore stuff. I can definitely appreciate, like, you know, the artistry that goes into that kind of thing. Like, you look at, you know, The Thing, and that was all, like, practical effects for this monster transforming into other people kind of thing, which is pretty cool. But, I think that might be a little bit of a tough one for me to watch. AI, the Somnia Files. I don't think I've heard of that game. Maybe I have, I don't know. Yeah, Junji. I mean, the thing is, Junji Ito does a lot of body horror. Like he does have body horror going on. It's very interesting, but I don't know if I'd call it gory, but it is definitely body horror. Like Ghost, you can do in interesting ways too. Honestly, in terms of like horror, the what kind of like traditional horror stuff that probably least interests me is zombies. Like, I'm not really big into zombies. I don't really like that. I did see Zombieland, and Zombieland was pretty good, partially because it was funny. But not a big zombie fan. Oh, straight up gory. Ooh. Okay. Some people really like that. I'm not big into it. Mushishi? I don't know if I've seen that. Yeah, I saw Shaun of the Dead. It was, I don't know, it was okay. I like Zombieland a little bit more than I like Shaun of the Dead, honestly. I feel like zombie stories make me sad more than they make me, like, scared. It's probably the reason why I have never played a Last of Us and probably never will. Like, I don't know, I don't find zombie stories, like, very scary. I just mostly find them very sad. Like I did watch, what was one of the first zombie movies? Like, I think it was Night of the Living Dead. And it's about all the people that are, you know, trapped in this house, as the zombie apocalypse is starting, basically. Very much about racism and stuff. Very bleak ending. Yeah, Night of the Living Dead. I did see that. And more than that was scary, that was a very sad movie to me. Because it was about racism and basically how the black guy does everything right and then still gets killed in the end because of that racial prejudice. Like, it just sucks. Ugh. Well, speaking of that, I did see a bit of Get Out, and that was really good. That's a good scary movie. In terms of horror stuff, I actually listened all the way through 5 seasons of the Magnus Archives, which is definitely a horror, you know, radio play podcast thing. I'll admit, though, like, even if it's cool that we got, you know, a lot of queer characters in there by the end, I kind of got bored by the overarching plot. I liked the singular, one-off, you know, horror tales that it kind of started with, and once it started getting into more stuff of, like, you know, the fear powers and all that kind of stuff, like this very overarching story, that kind of felt harder for me to follow in a way. Alright, let's do page 3. Yeah, I'd probably have to be careful around gore because I'm not super big on it. Okie dokie. Let's do this. Yeah, I did listen to Magnus Archives. I liked it a little bit better when it was short horror stories rather than the overarching stuff. It was kind of funny. But actually, I like anthologies in general. I like it when you have like a theme for a bunch of, for one thing, see a lot of different people's interpretation of that theme. I always think that's pretty neat. Yeah. Like, some people really thrive on, like, showing gore and that kind of stuff because you get to... Again, there's, like, an artistry to that. You get to show off some kind of artistic chops. Just in terms of, like, actually watching it, I'm like, oh, I don't like it. I'm uncomfortable. It makes me feel bad. But I will not deny that there is a big artistry to that. You can't just be like, blood and guts everywhere. Like, you have to make that effective, you have to put thought into it, as you do most things. And yeah, that's fine. As a fanfic writer, you can write some of that, because honestly, like, a good way to explore those topics is in fiction. That's what we do the most. Oh, sheesh, is it time already? The time has come to stretch. Time to stretch. The horrors of not taking care of your body. Time does fly. When you're having fun and drawing colts. I guess talking about horror is appropriate for this then. My primary thing is I like hearing about, like, weird horror stuff and ARGs being explained to me by YouTube channels. I mean, stretch me in for the channel points, but I try and do it every half hour, so if I do it when people do channel points, I'd be doing it a lot. I do need to do something with channel points, though. I absolutely do. Yeah, this is definitely horrifying for Chris. Bit traumatizing. Just a bit. Just a bit of trauma. Yeah, I guess the reason why I don't know if I need to do channel points towards that is because I try and do the stretch anyway during the ad break. I'm not sure if I'm always succeeding, but I'm trying. Do it during the ad break so people are not missing as much of the drawing stuff. Docs, they're like, Noelle's father is dying. No. I hope we get to save him through some special means. Because that would really suck if he, like, was dead. Like, you can have the threat of him dying, but I hope we get to... There's at least the ability to prevent that from happening. Well, it's okay. You don't have to write uplifting things if you're not feeling it. You can write what you want to write. There's room for everything. Alright, I'll be right back. Need more... Actually, I probably should get my orange juice, too. Orange juice time! anything. Oh, thank you. It's the spoopy King music. Alright, I'm back at it. Oh, it's not Fantastic Voyage. I think it's just called... Is that called Inner Space? I know I've seen parts of that movie where they have like a submarine that has to go inside somebody's body. It's either Fantastic Voyage or Inner Space. Alright, thanks a bunch for coming to the stream. I'm gonna keep going until about noon or so. Again, computer willing. First gonna get sacrificed while you're gone. Yeah, hope you have a great day. Writing and drawing. Drawing and writing together. Yeah, I do want to see Barbie. Barbie looks good. I'm not sure when I'll see it. I'm so bad about seeing movies that are like actually out. But I usually don't want to go by myself. But I'm a homebody, nobody else is here. Fantastic Voyage is the original? Okay, that's what I thought. Well, whatever you do, I'm glad you're here for the stream. That must be a reference. I don't think I've actually read any Lovecraft. Looking up poor Chris's nose here. Like, I'm aware of a bunch of Lovecraft stories, but I don't think I've ever actually read any, or even seen any movies for that matter. Oh no. Tried to sneak into the movies, didn't work. That's good too. Sometimes you need to take a break from art stuff, I say. Not doing that when I probably should. If I need to hang out with friends more often, it forces me to take a break and hang out with my friends. So I gotta remember to do that. It's rough when also work's taking up a lot of my time. I'd like to make as much progress as I can. I'm worried about their nose. Like, I'm worried about all of me. Yeah, hands are always tough. We see hands all the time. Yeah, I do want to see it. Yeah, TMT movie looks good too. Good stuff. Hands always take a lot of practice to draw. I'm always admiring people who can do hands really well. Abstract art's surprisingly hard too. You'd be surprised. It ain't easy. Especially in some ways it's harder because like you have to, you know, find different ways of communicating your ideas that, you know, are going to be very open to interpretation. Okay, I have not seen that in the movie, so I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what's being referenced there. I just think the animation looks cool. And I don't think you can milk a turtle. I don't think that's possible. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but not that I'm aware of. I don't know. I can't comment on that because I don't know what's being referenced. That. Some writer thought it was funny. Get out of here, special lines. Oh. Orange juice? No, there's turtle wax, but even that I don't think actually comes from turtles. Carol. Don't know. Everybody should be writing. But I'm just drawing. Probably not. I just realized I'm going to have to do something about that because I think that is overlapping another layer. Ah! Sometimes stuff with layers gets nuts. Well, do stuff when you want to. Yeah, Toriel, I don't know if there's a principal per se for the school, but Toriel seems to be the one in charge, considering she hired Alphys, I guess, so. Let's go back here. And then Chris can't move. Can't move your body. Bit of a problem. It's like that's another kind of a medical horror. That whole medical horror thing where it's like they put you under anesthesia, but it didn't work, so you can't move, but you're aware of what's happening. That's always very spooky. I don't think I've seen True Detective. Yeah, Alfie seems to talk like she's the authority. She's queen of the school. Even though we don't have that. Yes, I have seen Nimona. It was super good. I really liked it. It was a great fun time. So if you haven't seen Nimona yet, I really recommend it. It's really fun. Yeah, it was fantastic. I'm really glad that they were able to give Nimona that space on Netflix for people to see it, since they otherwise canned it. But it was really good. Yeah, it's on Netflix now, so if you have Netflix, then go give it a look. I'm gonna get back to finishing Paranormal Park too, because I'm in the middle of that. Oh, the climax of Nimona. Oh, it's so good. I think that's, yes, definitely a story that a lot of queer people can relate to. For obvious reasons. It's very much a queer story. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. And for chatting. We're in here with Chris getting sacrificed. Not great for Chris. Not a fun time. Actually. Yes, that is true. Great for Rouse though. Yep, it is. Also, he's like, yay! A friend! Just a silhouette, I guess. Back there. That's all good. Sometimes you just gotta think things out. Think things out loud. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta talk through a thing. It's like, how am I gonna make this work? Talks about it. Oh, like that. Okay. Glad we worked that out. Okay. Try and save a bunch. Thanks a bunch for coming to the stream. I super appreciate it. Ooh, Dune. That's another long book. Heartache to come up on the randomizer. That would be appropriate too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that a priest of the local church has plenty of social influence. Feels like that's a given. Old books. I just realized, shoot, whenever I do the comic scene with Azrael, I'm like, it's probably going to be in a library. I'll have to draw a library. Those are so time consuming to draw. You gotta draw all the books from different angles. Drawing request? Draw time dog. Because I'm looking at my time dog plush right now, so. Yeah, backgrounds are always very time consuming. But they gotta get done to get the atmosphere around. There. Hi, baby. What would probably be easiest is I could figure out how to use Blender again and model something, but my Blender skills are non-existent. I've forgotten how to do 3D modeling. I used to, like, a decade or two ago, 15 years ago, but I've lost a lot of my modeling ability. That would be useful, because then I can just, like, alright, here's my scene. Let's take a bunch of camera angles of it, and then you're on. I don't know how well that would work. Actually, one too many. Blender really is the... I should exercise, but for artists. I should learn Blender. Okie dokie. She's got the big book of sacrificing your kids for dummies. Drink this more regularly. Yeah, my drawing request is a... Yeah, see, I don't think it's a requirement to learn Blender. Or anything like that. My thoughts mainly on learning Blender is that it would be useful for me to be like, okay, do I have a set I'm going to be using a lot over and over again in terms of backgrounds, especially a complicated one? If I can model that in Blender, then what I can do is just take pictures of it and trace that for the actual art, and then that's just a big time saver and also looks a little better. But that requires me being able to model. I haven't done that in a long time. Some people really go all in. You can do some really cool things with Blender. But, I've forgotten a lot of my modeling animation skills and all that stuff. Did they let you do that? Blender does everything. Blender does, like, modeling, texturing, lighting, animation. Like, if you've seen those, cute little, Eldritchrune animations by Lupus? I can't remember pronounce the name. He does those cute Eldritchrune animations. I think it's like Lupus or something, but not like that. Lupsus. It's like Lupcus. That's how you pronounce the name. Yeah, that person, that artist. That's all done in Blender. They do the modeling and the animation and the texturing and the lighting. That's all done in Blender. So you can use it for anything. Heck, like, the Backrooms, the first, like, video kind of thing they did that, like the one by Keen Pixels. That's all done in Blender. But yeah, I love their animations. They're so cute. They're so amazing. And that's all done in Blender. Which is kind of cool considering Blender is free. So if you can learn how to do that stuff, that's super cool and useful. But yeah, their animations are really cute. I like them. Yep, Blender is free. Unlike most 3D software out there, like Maya and Autodesk and all that kind of stuff is paid for, but Blender you can get for free. So you can do some pretty cool stuff with it. I admire people who can do that because I wish I was better with that. Even when I was learning 3D in Maya back in the day, stuff I always struggled with was texturing and lighting. It's hard. Okay. So this will be effects later. This is foreground elements, so I can draw over it. Of course, there's all kinds of tutorials I'm sure you can look up also for how to do Blender, stuff like that. Neato. Neato burrito. So many flowers. Okay. That's why your mask takes forever to draw, because it's stuff on it. Stuff all over it. I don't even know how those flowers are on his mask. Maybe they're sewn in, maybe they're glued on. Mysteries. Not important. Yeah, I don't know how that works. People will just ask for stuff sometimes. Can you do an animation? No? You're gonna pay me for that? There's a reason this takes hundreds of people and millions of dollars off them to do that. Animation is a very big request. Yeah, that's a big no. Big nope. Nobody nope. Unless you're already doing that for fun, because that's what you want to do. That's a nope. Alright, I'll add this effect in later. break time's coming up soon. Actually, maybe I will just do these in shaded colors and not do a line around them. Probably seems easier. Orange juice! Yeah, that's not the kind of thing you usually ask people to do for free. Regardless of anything else, animation is extremely time consuming. That's just the nature of it. That's how it be. What? This is my break time already. Alright, well, open the new one anyway. Okay. It's time to stretch. We'll move on to page 4. I don't know if I'll be able to finish this entire part today, but we'll get through most of it, I think. Maybe 6 out of 8 pages if we're lucky. So that would be good. Gotta stretch. Yep, progress is progress. Considering I started on this part, like Monday night this last week, the fact that I'm already at cleans is pretty cool. Especially considering this is the longest part yet. Let me fill that water. This is 15 full pages, and I think the longest part after that was the Meeting Susie one, and that was still about a little less than 14 pages. So this is a long one. Ugh, too hot. It's already too hot in Canada, let alone in the Southwest. Kablit. Kablit. Texas, where my dad is right now. Super stretch. Alright, back for one more stretch. Stretches down, back for the last one. Here we go to page 4. Page 4? Away! Any special lines going on here? Probably the torches and stuff. Ew! Gross. That's too, I like summer heat, and that's still too much. That is too much. Yeah, I feel like that would be a whole chapter of the dub, because this is, again, the longest part. I'm not sure how I'm gonna, like, there's a part, they're gonna get to, like, doing a chant. I don't know how I'm going to do that, because I want to be clear that they're saying something. I don't want to, like, write out in English what they're actually saying, because that adds mystery and stuff to it. So, I'm gonna have to work out how I'm communicating that they're doing a chant, but, not explain exactly what it is. Texas be like, ah! Yeah, it's pretty warm here, and the problem is there's no AC built, or no built-in AC anywhere, so I have to use my portable AC. It's too hot for Alfie's too. She needs to have regular temperature. Chris, we didn't think you have enough flowers, so here's some flowers in your flowers so you can flower while you flower. Oh no, you shouldn't have to do that. That's not okay. Too hot to work anyway in that kind of weather. Ugh. Like, there just gets to a point where it's like, if it's hot enough, like, you literally can't work. It's just too hot. It's not safe. And in terms of popsicles, what I remember from my childhood was, we would get, I don't remember what kind of pops they were, but they were like, popsicles that were, you know, red, orange, yellow gradient popsicles. They were really good, and I would just walk out into the background with one of those popsicles and just eat it and look around at all the nice things of summer, and it was just super nice. I can't remember what there was a specific kind of popsicle with the red, orange, yellow look to them, and I can't remember what kind they were called. You just get them at the grocery store. Yeah. What are you doing? Yeah, what are those kind called? I want to say they're called Rocket Pops, but I don't think they are. Those are like Patriot colors. Yeah, we had those when I was a kid, so I'm glad those are still around. But what were they called, specifically? I know some things... Yeah, are they called Rocket Pops? I thought that, like, the red, white, and blue ones were called Rocket Pops. Whereas this should be, like, red, orange, yellow colors. So, I think this is a regional, yeah, 15 pages long. Yes, again, sorry this stuff is out of order. That might be confusing for a dub. That's just how I've been doing it, because I'm like, okay, I'm just going to draw whatever I want in whatever order I want. Just to hopefully try and keep things fun and breezy. Yeah, Rocket Pops are the red, white, and blue. I'm trying to think of which ones are the red, orange, yellow. Okay, so this is a regional thing. What do you all call those little clear plastic tubes that have flavored colored ice in it? We called those Otter Pops. Like, when I was growing up, we called those little, you know, again, basically flavored shaved ice in a tube. We called those Otter Pops. Freezy Pops? Okay, I might need to turn off the background so you can see what I'm doing here. No, they're not popsicles. They're not on a stick. Popsicles are on a stick. These were basically in a little tube, and you would push them out through the tube to eat the flavored ice. And they're always like, they weren't really like an ice cream based. They were just flavored iced. Flavor iced. Yeah, Otter Pops. Yeah, it's like a Go-Gurt, but it's with flavor ice, not with yogurt. No dairy, just ice and sugar and flavor, pretty much. Flavor Ice is a brand name. Maybe Otter Pops is a brand name too, because like we called them Otter Pops because like they had little otter characters on them. Like each flavor was like a different otter character. Alright, thanks a bunch for coming to the stream. Yeah, Chris is really having a bad time now, although it's only gonna get worse, unfortunately. Yeah, that's why I thought Otter Pops is a brand name, because they have otter characters on them. You know, there's a blue otter for the blue flavor, and a purple otter for grape and orange otter for orange and all that stuff. Rare time to see both of Chris's eyes. Normally I have the hair covering them, but I need to actually show what's happening, so both eyes up. We got otter pops a lot on church missions. Probably they're cheap and fairly easy to store. Grape is the worst flavor. Why do they even have grape? Got to a big argument with people on my work chat once over what was the worst flavor, and they made fun of me for liking Twizzlers. Yeah, they're usually without eyes, because like 99.9% of the time in canon, no eyes. Yeah, they made fun of me for liking Twizzlers. I love Twizzlers. I like Red Vines too, alright, but I like Twizzlers more. Admittedly, they are, you know, pretty much like rubber sugar. I like them. I'll add that in later with color rather than lines. Everybody making fun of me for liking Twizzlers. No, Red Vines are not Twizzlers. There's a difference. Red Vines are like the kind you get at the movie theater. They're very thick and ropey, and they have a different flavor from Twizzlers, which are thinner, and they come in like strawberry flavors and other flavors and stuff like that. Also, Red Vines are more dry than Twizzlers, which are a bit juicier, for lack of a better word. As a ninja. No, Twizzlers not the same thing as Red Vines. Nice pops. Okay, that makes sense. I guess if you had only been exposed to the brand, you would have just assumed that that product in general was just always called Otter Pops. Yeah, probably. Yeah, you would usually get Otter Pops on like church mission stuff just because, one, they're very cheap and you can just, you know, basically stick them in a cooler or something and then bring them out later and there's your treats for the kids. Yeah, it's probably mostly the fact that they were cheap. And you could get them in big bulk things and pass them out to a bunch of kids at once. And you have to be fast, otherwise you'll get stuck with grape. Nobody knew what he meant. They're Otter Pops. Alright, silhouettes back there we'll just do with color later. Do color later. Also no harm in come on. And posting your own stuff to Tumblr if you want to. That's what it's there for. Going. Yeah, DeviantArt is unfortunately kind of gone downhill a bit. I used to post to DeviantArt a ton back in the day. And then I just kind of stopped. I couldn't keep up with it. Especially since, like, it's hard to find places where comics are a good place to, post things along with socials. Like, I guess you can do stuff like, Tapas or, those places like that if you're doing a big serial one. But in terms of, like, a combination of, social stuff and being able to post, like, multiple large images, Tumblr is pretty nice for that. Waha, brought you back. I do like the Undertale Eldritchrune fandom on Tumblr. It's pretty good. It's okay on Twitter sometimes. I don't know how you do it on Reddit, because I'm like, oh, the Redditors are very obnoxious. Well, not all the time, but a lot of the time. Ugh, it's rough. It's so rough. Yeah, I've seen a good amount on Twitter. Or as long as Twitter lasts, anyway. Who knows how long that'll be. I really wish Blue Sky would go public. Make my life easier a bit. I'm trying to post the Eldritchrune stuff back to Blue Sky as well. But most people following me there now are not Undertale Eldritchrune fans or all that kind of stuff. They're like people I know. It's always a little weird. Twitter's always been a weird mix of, like, just random fans and, like, people I know from work. Only moderately obnoxious. That's why I said not everybody, obviously. That's not the case. It's just it's a lot. Blue Sky is kind of a Twitter alternative that's popped up because Twitter is going down the tubes. Thanks, Elon. But right now it's not out of beta. It's invite only. So you can come if somebody gives you an invite code. And right now I think I get a new invite code like every 2 weeks or so. So it's a trickle in rather than a big flood. Honestly, what I think would work best is if Blue Sky let you port all of your Twitter history too. Like, that was a huge draw back in the day for the switch from LiveJournal to Dreamwidth. When that happened, Dreamwidth was like, hey, we're built on similar code. We'll let you port in all of your LiveJournal history. That was a huge draw. That was part of the exodus from LiveJournal. Because unfortunately, LiveJournal went through some pretty catastrophic changes. Yeah, that's another issue. It's like, there's been, like, at this point, years and years of, like, connections and stuff built up on Twitter, and the fact that it's probably all going to be lost before long is just really depressing. Now, gotta draw crowd scenes, even though it's a crowd of, like, 7, 8, still, it's a lot of people for one panel. Yeah, I post a couple of different places when I am going to stream. I'm like, hey, I'm going to stream now. I'm posting it here, 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 here. But, do what you can. Maybe someday we'll go back to the days of making your own website. GeoCities, Angel Fire. Yeah, I pretty much use Facebook solely to be like, thanks for the birthday wishes on my birthday, and to like pictures of like my cousin's kids. really talk or post to Facebook unless it's something I'm like, is this something I want grandparents to see? Okay, then it'll go on Facebook. I'm not very fond of Facebook just kind of stealing all your data too. Not great, so I don't really post there. That is true. Like, I think Reddit has some formatting things that are pretty nice. Honestly, just speaking of in terms of like, okay, I'm using a bunch of socials at once for the same thing, in particular with Anthrofractal, Reddit has the nicest setup for doing polls compared to any other site. You have a lot of control over the polls. You can set them up how they like. Polls are pretty good on Reddit. I'm glad that Tumblr finally introduced them, but the reason why I haven't done that for Anthrofractal yet is because you don't have much control over how long the poll lasts. It's either a day or a week, and I need something that lasts 3 days. So, I need to be able to, oh, no, she's supposed to be holding hands. They're all holding hands. Shows there's a demand for stories. So yeah, Reddit has its advantages, but user base can be obnoxious, and probably even harder to use with all the API tools now taken out. That's not great. Those are kind of important for a lot of people. If they're talking to each other, they knock their masks together and the antlers get tangled. It's like, oops, ah! There we go. Yeah, that's pretty fun. It's nice to share things with folks. I've never used AO3 because I don't really do fanfic much anymore. But it does seem like a pretty good setup. Especially for its tagging system. That seems really important too. I wish that more places would have like a really robust tagging system like AO3 has. Both for finding stuff you want and filtering out stuff you don't. All important things. Yeah, I think ff.net was the main place to post stuff for a while. That's where I posted a bunch of fanfiction back when I still wrote it. Now I'd end up just doing comics mostly. Well, I think for Eldritchrune, if I ever get to the point where I'm drawing like how stuff ends, like when they get back to the light world, that's probably going to have to be a combination of like comic and illustrated fanfic. Because I think it would be too long and complicated to draw it all. What's my old ff.net? I'm not going to say. I'm sorry, it's very old. It's also an account I shared with a bunch of people. Like, we were doing it as a group. So you might not know just from the stories themselves who wrote what. So, sorry, I'm not going to share that. It's very old. Yep, finishing stuff is hard. I'm not sure if we're gonna if I'm gonna do a scene where it's, you know, after the sacrifice and Chris meets Ralsei for the first time. I've pondered it, but I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. And why did I share an account? I wanted to. We were just part of a group of, this was for mostly Kingdom Hearts fanfiction, and we had similar ideas on wanting to just put out certain kinds of Kingdom Hearts fanfiction. We felt like it was kind of lacking in general. So we did that. Like, that was the same account that Those Lacking Spines was posted under. So, which was got very popular. So I was on that account, but we all had, like, different pseudonyms. So yeah, joint account, mostly Kingdom Hearts stuff. And some of it was parody, some of it was serious. I just feel awkward because it was from so long ago. Yeah, if I ever do the ending for Eldritchrune, basically, that's probably going to be a combo of fanfiction and comic, or illustrated fanfiction and comic. It's going to be too long to all do comic, unfortunately. Too long and complicated. I don't want to literally be paneling out lots of armies. Yeah, and Kingdom Hearts ironically broke my heart with Kingdom Hearts 3. How it ended. I was so sad. I used to be so big in that fandom. For years and years. Okay, holding hands. Chris is genuinely freaked out. I think we'll do the symbol thing again in different color. Well, at least if you want to play Kingdom Hearts, there's now lots of means to do so. It is on a number of platforms, many times over. I think that's kind of to make up for the fact that when it was coming out, it was scattered a lot of different platforms. I was literally buying consoles just to play Kingdom Hearts on them. Yeah, like, I liked Kingdom Hearts 3 for the most part, but the ending just bothered me a lot. It made me mad. Yeah, I don't know if Kingdom Hearts will be very good on Switch. It is kind of intended for PlayStation games, so like PlayStation 4 is probably a good place to do that. Yeah, at least if you're getting into the series now, you can access everything pretty easily. Oh, cloud only? Ugh. Bad! Don't put stuff on the cloud! I hate that. Oh, the Disney stuff was my favorite part of Kingdom Hearts. Well, not my favorite part. It was the part I really liked. I liked that dichotomy of, this Final Fantasy characters with Disney. It was a fun combo. Chocolate and peanut butter kind of thing. Yeah, I don't like stuff being on the cloud. I've heard somebody point it, if something's on the cloud, it's not in a cloud, it's on somebody else's computer. That's all the cloud is a server somewhere else. And if that computer goes down, then so does your stuff. Do you gotta play Final Fantasy? No. Nah. You do not. Like, there are Final Fantasy cameos, but you don't need to have played those games to, get something out of those characters in there. And at best, like, it kind of uses similar magic systems to Final Fantasy, but again, you don't have to play any Final Fantasy to get what's going on. And all of the main characters are all original characters that are kind of aesthetically a blend of Squeenix and Disney. It's still very fun, I think, to interact with the, like, Disney characters, depending on, you know, which movies you like, which ones you don't. Oops, I think I did the line wrong. Let's see. Long panel is long. Had these kinds of pants back then, but they do now. They have pockets back then? I don't know. I don't even know when back then is. Yeah, like, if you're not sure about it, then, like, just start with Kingdom Hearts 1. I think there's a reason that one's first. It's a good one to start with. If you like that, you can do more. Chris is definitely freaked out. Yeah, the Pirates of the Caribbean world in Kingdom Hearts 3 was so hard to do. The ship battles were hard. I sucked at them. There's some good moments, but it was so rough. Okay, we got that page done. Oh, right in time for my thing. Let's open up page 5 at least, and I'll start my stretch. Timing! Okay. Ugh. Time to stretch. I feel it in my wrist. Blech. Yeah, Toy Box was a little weird. You just get randomly transported in the middle of Toy Box to, here's the game that Tetsuya Nomura actually wanted to make. You can run around in it briefly for about 10 minutes. Oh boy. Just weird. I like the level design for, like, I thought the level design in the Tangled world was really good. Like, that was a fun world to run around in. Very bright and pretty. The Frozen one would be less of annoying if you didn't have to climb that stupid mountain like 3 times. Keep getting knocked off of it. Monstropolis was pretty fun. Yeah, The World Ends With You is really good. I haven't played the new version, but I did play the old one, and that one was really good. I really like the soundtrack in that. It's a great soundtrack. Yeah, like, you can get so many games now for Kingdom Hearts for cheap. Although the issue is, like, with some of the 1.5, 2.5 packs, you're not getting the games like Days and Coded. Those are just cutscene packs. And I'll be right back. Return. It has some special icing going on, okay. But yeah, the thing with some of the Kingdom Hearts games is that you can't really play them on PlayStation and stuff anymore. Like the one on the DS. And yeah, I think both of the DS games, which was Coded and Days, both of those ones, like, they basically created cutscene versions of them, which is useful for story stuff, but if you actually want to play the game they're in, you have to get a DS copy of it. And same with anything with a Union Cross, that's also a cutscene movie, and there's not really a way to play that unless you actually play the game. No, Dream Drop Distance you can play. They did port that one at least, which is good because that's a very story relevant game. But yeah, they didn't do the same for Coded and Days, unfortunately, because while they're deemed not as plot important, it'd still be nice to be able to play them. Are 10 games good? $30, yes. I think Birth by Sleep is my favorite. Maybe tied with Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 2 is very satisfying to play. Very fun. They give you everything that's story relevant, or just about everything you need that's story relevant. Which is why the other games that they didn't port all the way, they at least gave you like cutscenes you can go through. Yeah, I like Birth by Sleep. I think it was fun for character stuff. I think it was a nice break. We got a bunch of different Disney worlds that we usually don't get. I thought the gameplay for it was really fun. Chain of Memories has grown on me over time too. Oh, I always thought Ericus was very interesting. I actually roleplayed him a bunch. Back when I used to roleplay. I played Sora. Like in Kingdom Hearts, I played Sora and I played Ericus. Like, Ericus is a deeply flawed character. Super duper flawed, and I probably liked him less after Kingdom Hearts 3, honestly. But I liked him in Birth by Sleep, even as he did very reprehensible things. I'm just like, oh, he's such an interesting character. I probably should play, get rid of you, I think. Probably should play Dark Road or something, but again, 3 kind of killed my desire for that. Oh yeah, it's fun. Definitely I had fun role-playing characters from that franchise. It was very good. It was a fun time. Actually, that was my first foray into Tumblr. The first thing I did on Tumblr was I was running an Ericus Ask blog. It got kind of popular. More than I thought it would, anyway. Then I switched to an actual blog. Yeah, that's what I did on Tumblr first, was an Ericus Ask blog. So I'm like, oh, people are doing these Ask blog things? Okay, that looks fun. Turns out they're a lot of work. Yeah, I first played the GBA version when I played not Birth by Sleep, Chain of Memories. Like, I played that so much when it first came out. It's hard on the GBA. They toned down some of the difficulty for it, thankfully, with the PlayStation versions. But like the original one, I was like, oh, I busted up my thumbs pretty good at one point, fighting final bosses. Yeah, just a warning, Ask blogs are a bit more work than you'd think they would be. silhouette back there. Carol was like, I have to be loud about this. It's so dramatic. Well, I mean, for the Ask blog, you can really do what you want, like, as with any fans thing. Some Ask blog stuff has gotten super popular, like with the Ask Friskin company. That turned into a holding thing. That was a whole deal. Lurk. God, I keep drawing these guys holding hands in a semicircle. More Phantom stuff on Mastodon. Yeah, I don't know if Mastodon much interests me. Like, I can understand the appeal of the decentralized nature of it, but if that's the case, I might as well just go back to forums. Those are, I don't know, I feel like they're organized a little better. That's why I met some people on forums way back in the day. Wholesome. Well, that's good. I know some people really dig Mastodon. Just didn't interest me as much. I'm surprised there's not more fandom stuff on Mastodon, though. The whole decentralization thing seems like it would, you know, you just join a fandom server or whatever it is. Yeah, I think the forum I was on the most back in the day was Pseudome, which was basically a forum that ended up being an unofficial home for if you were somebody that had submitted or was interested in submitting something to the Rising Stars of Manga competition that Tokyo Pop used to run. That was where all those artists would gather and talk. So I met a bunch of artists through that. And then it turned out Tokyo Pop was really scummy with its business practices, so that sucked. But at the time, we all wanted to get in this cool competition where you could draw manga-style art. At a time when that was, it was very hard to make a living doing that at all. Like, you either did traditional superhero comics or nothing at all. Do how like weird signature and stuff like that. So yeah, that was one of the first forums I was on, was the Pseudome forums. They're all very interesting. I think I entered that competition like 3 or 4 times and I never won. Oh well. Got close apparently sometimes, but not close enough. But again, maybe it's for the best since I ended up doing a job I like anyway. It's just storyboarding. Finished off my orange juice. Everybody hold hands. You need to be holding hands or else the child doesn't get sacrificed right. Can't do that wrong. Can't be wrong. Need to figure out what game I'm doing next after a Ghost Trick, because I'll probably finish Ghost Trick if not next time, then the time after. Probably in 2 more sessions or so. Assuming I can get through the puzzles okay. I'm sure there might be places where I get stuck on some puzzles. But I'm gonna have to work out which game I want to do next, because I have a lot of possibilities. Might do Spiritfarer next, since that's one I've been meaning to do for a while. People have asked me about it. I'm also considering Monkey Island. It's also pretty good. I know I need to get back to Psychonauts 2. And eventually I'll do Mother 3. Now maybe Hollow Knight's on the table. So much stuff. I'll do Disco Elysium sometime, Outer Wilds. Psychonauts is fun. I enjoyed the first one, even if there were parts I definitely sucked at. Like that acrobats puzzle at the end. I was like, ah! I'm failing a lot. Hand there. Now I'm not doing this. I want to do the sequel, even though I think I might suck at the sequel. Yeah, that was the one that I struggled on. The Meat Circus one was pretty tricky, because it's all like acrobatic stuff you gotta do very carefully. And I got stuck on one part of Meat Circus that was just like, trying to basically climb up the top of this thing while you're getting berated the whole time about how much you suck, and I'm like, I know! Ah! Okay. Let's actually go ahead and do these candles too. I really like the Black Velvetopia level. That was a really cool design. Oh, I like that one a lot. Flames go full. At least I was able to finish Meat Circus eventually, after much trial and error. Just getting very nervous. Hey, if you are at the Meat Circus level, it's pretty much the last level, so it makes sense that that is the hard one. So, all the acrobatics you gotta do. Yep, definitely get to the end of that level. Daddy issues. The level. cannot be done in line but in colors. Their head. I need the rest of your hair. Okay. And that one we'll do in silhouette, so we'll just do a little outline around because I didn't want to draw them all again. Favorite part of drawing is cleanup because I'm just like, fun and fancy free. Let the lines go. Interesting. I guess that would make sense because, you know, a lot of basis in Earthbound. It is a Child of Mother series. This one we'll just do silhouettes because that'll be easier to deal with. And also spookier. Spoopy. I'm pretty sure he hasn't logged into those forums in a long time. He doesn't really use the radiation part much anymore anyway. Silhouettes make things much easier. Neat. I mean, I consider 4 years ago a while ago at this point, but that is fun. Very cool. Okay. horns, antlers everywhere. It's like I think something to do for Undertale's 8th anniversary, because that's coming up super fast. What should I do for it? Mods from the shadow. Oh, got the eyes there. Yeah. Let's see. Got everything on this page. On to page 6. We'll make our way through. Yeah, I figured this is as far as we were gonna get. Open, please. Okay. A little bit of copy paste. Special lines. What the heck is that? That's not supposed to be there. Get out of here. What is that? Okay, take this down. Yeah, I'm sure he's just a busy guy. How, like, I need to see sometime how shoes were designed, like, in olden times. They were just totally flat at the bottom. Like, that might make a difference, but it doesn't look right if they don't have a little heel part in them. Dino Rampage gif. Give us Susie Zilla. Give us Susie Zilla. Give it to us. Give us the Susie Zillas. Let her be a kaiju. Okay. She deserves to be a kaiju and stomp on all the cities. Take this down a little bit. Okay. And, let's do some special lines, actually. I do hope we get Susie Zilla next time. That would be cool. I would appreciate that. Back to... more flour. Right. Now is it already my stretchy time? It is already my stretchy time. Alright, stretchy time. And then that'll be our last session after the stretch. At least get through this page, I think. Should be good. I got some leftover pizza for lunch. So that'd be cool. After I'm done with this, also I'm going to post a little blurb to Tumblr on, some thoughts on Chris and the ending. So I'm like, I should just blab about my thoughts more often. I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed. I don't know why I'm so nervous about that, maybe because I'm like, I don't want discourse. I want to say my opinions. Yeah, that's why I don't undercharge for your work. You never know where you'll go. You gotta pay yourself your time. It's part of the reason why I want to save some money for doing a big Eldritchrune fan project in the future after the game is out. I'm like, okay, if I get voice actors and musicians, I gotta pay them. I don't want to do exposure, so I gotta save money to pay them that. Alright, be right back for one more stretch. To final section. Blabbing about thoughts. I should be allowed to do that. Okay. Chris is having a real bad time. It's not great. Hello, thank you. I'm gonna go on a Poke Walk today because it is Community Day and I gotta go catch a bunch of shinies. Oh, I guess you can voice act whenever you want it. I don't feel comfortable voice acting. I feel so weird about acting. I've tried it with my voice and I'm like, I sound terrible. No! I cannot do it. So I admire people who can do it. Like, I get my storytelling out through the drawing. You get your storytelling out through your voice. And together, when our powers combine, cool things happen. Ideally. Must make me wish I could write music, but I definitely can't do that. Some people are very jack of all trades, and that's just crazy to me. That very good teacher voice. Oh, that's probably because my parents are teachers. I inherited from their teacher voices. Oh no. People always say, oh, you sound just like your mom. And I'm like, really? Oh, okay. I don't think so, but what do I know? My teacher voice is because I was raised by teachers. All the time. Teachers. Bad times for Chris. Poor Chris. I didn't even get to their, yeah. Stripe on their shirt. And I'm just watching. Have I been drawing on the wrong lines the whole time? I have. No! Okay. Before things get dire, let's split you off. Oh, no, not that. Split you off into the proper layer. God, I was doing all the stuff on the wrong layer. Give me the wrong layer song. I need it. Okay, there we go. Can I say the essay needs to be turned in by Wednesday? Is that teacher voice enough? The essay needs to be turned in by Wednesday. I'm so glad I don't have to write essays anymore. Thank goodness. I'm glad I'm past that. For all the trouble life throws at you when you're an adult. At least I'm not writing essays in high school. That's great. That's teacher voice. Oh no. How did this happen? How did this happen? I've only done a little bit of teaching, and it was kind of more tutoring than actual teaching. I don't know if I was very good at it. I always get very stressed out if the kids were struggling and like, I don't understand, I'm crying. I'm like, no, don't cry. I'm sorry. Teaching's hard. Sound like a deadpan math teacher? Oh no. Oh. Oh no. I don't want to sound like a deadpan teacher. That sounds even worse. At least be lively. Wake the kids up. Like, usually the way to do that is by telling stories. That usually gets kids excited. Then you're teaching them something that doesn't even feel like it. Toriel's kind of having a hard time too. You listen to your conscience on this one. Do it, Toriel. Be traumatized. Doesn't she have enough trauma? She does have trauma in canon, for sure. Probably in Eldritchrune, too. I'd not be surprised. Everybody got that secret trauma. And again, maybe not. Maybe things are normal. Or as normal as they can be. You know, she got a divorce, so obviously everything's not perfect. But, yeah, this might traumatize her. Special lines here. Yeah, that's true. No, teaching is super hard. People really don't get how hard it can be. special lines. Let's see what I'm doing. And obviously, like, there are teachers out there that are not good, that are pretty bad at their jobs, and can unfortunately negatively affect kids quite a bit because of that, which super duper sucks. But in general, teaching is a very difficult, thankless profession. One where you're investing a ton of time and energy into, like, you know, trying to teach these kids, and oftentimes you really don't know whether that investment pays off or not. Sometimes you get a kid that comes back and is like, hey, you meant a lot, like, this class meant a lot to me and I learned a lot, and that is a big deal, I think, for teachers. But a lot of the time, most of the time, like, vast majority of the time, you just never see these kids again after that year. And that's hard. It's a hard thing. And also so much prep work involved, good grief. A lot of friends who are teachers, as well as, you know, having family members, and they just working all the time. Here, kid, have some hot Cheetos. That's very funny. That's another thing. Students be like, yay! Excuse to do something different in class. That's another reason why it's very hard to be a sub, because vast majority of the time, kids are like, you're only here for a day. We don't really respect you being here. You're not our regular teacher. All these dang panels where all the cult members are all lined up and stuff. And there's so many of them. So many wide shots. Actually, I have no clue if those are called different things than panels. I just call them shots. That's how my brain thinks of it. Yeah. Like that. Honestly, I would not want to wear these masks for too long. They're probably very heavy. Animatics do take a while. So, that's my job. It's fun to make them look cool. Loosey-goosey with the hands here. Holding hands also hard. Hello, thank you for coming. I'm working on doing cleanups for this next comic part. Rudy. Being able to recognize that it's Rudy by having him doing some coughing. I don't like that. I figured we'd get through about 6 pages today, and that's probably what I'll be able to do. Oh, welcome back. We're getting close to finishing, at least for now, because I'm going to have to get some lunch and do a few other things for the day. Hello, thank you for coming as well. Yeah, I'm not going to go too much longer. Probably about 15 minutes or so. You came in right as Chris getting sacrificed. Which is the whole part. Alright, this is the head for this one. I was going to do some writing as well. I should do so little time. I'm just like, oh, I gotta get back to work tomorrow. Oh shoot, this is that's a background image, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I'm gonna have to do a little line. Actually, let's just make sure I do the lines right now. I have them here. I might as well just draw them correctly. Who would have guessed? Drawing the lines correctly. Misery for Chris, entertainment for us. Wahahaha. It's fun to see a character in distress. And you're like, yes, will they succeed through the difficult, scary thing? Yeah, that Clamp definitely does that a bunch. I think one of the first ways I was introduced to anime was through Clamp, which is a quite an introduction. I don't know if I'd recommend Clamp as your first anime. Go back to special lines. Like I had a friend in high school who was like, "You read anime? You should look at this," and then it showed me X 1999, and immediately get thrown into, and then this beautiful lady was crucified, and I was like, whoa. Clamp is a manga team. They've done a couple of different manga and anime. Yeah. X was a bit of a rough one to start with, and also in terms of anime, one of the first anime I watched was Excel Saga, also not a great one to start out with, because it's full of very Japanese culture specific jokes. So I don't know how I kept going with anime after that. I had friends who were into it, and that's probably why, but that's a rough start. That's what happens in X! That happens in X 1999. I remember I had the soundtrack for that, actually. So that's why that's a little bit of a rough one to start on. Clamp's done a bunch of different manga, though. That was probably one of their darker ones. Well, I'm sure I've said some ridiculous things out of context. Clamp School Detectives. I think another one I remember reading was I didn't finish it, but I started was Tsubasa. Was another one. It's kind of a Smash Brothers for Clamp. Tsubasa, and there's also I think it was Triple X Holic. Wait, which direction did the lines go on Toriel's face? Yeah, they went that way. Apparently I didn't draw them on this one. Yeah, Tsubasa and Triple X Holic were kind of like sister series a little bit. Okay. Ah. Chris in great distress here. See how far we can get. Maybe we can get to the next page. I don't know. Susie be like, I'm a hamster eating gremlin. Ah! I don't remember saying that, but I'm sure it's something I said at some point. Yeah, they did Cardcaptor Sakura and Ray Earth. Which, Cardcaptor Sakura is probably the best one to start with in terms of a starter anime. Don't start with X1999. Don't be like me. Also, don't have your first anime be Excel Saga. It's funny, but it's not a good starter one. Bunch of different ones we watched. I was just quoting what Demo said. I didn't say that. Not me. Okay. I'm gonna do the fire on a separate layer so that we can color that properly. Where'd Susie go? I don't know. She went to stomp the city. Be Susie Zilla. Gotta do the fire stuff. I'm on fire! Probably color this stuff in later. I think it's always like a little hard to make fire look a certain way. That is a quote I'll stand by. I stand by this quote as correct and true. Yeah, but it's magic fire. So they didn't actually get burned, they just got kind of teleported, but it looks pretty scary if you are in the middle of fire. Chris doesn't know this is not, you know, real fire. Magic fire. So yeah, they're freaked out. So, no actual harm, but definitely psychological harm. Yeah, that makes sense. That's probably not a Suzelle thing. Might be able to squeeze in a little bit more on page 7, too. that later. Keep looking up their nose. Ah. It's a weird angle. Yeah, there's a reason that they're very upset about what happened. Like, I really didn't like this at all. It was an extremely negative experience. Oh, Chris has never traveled by flu powder before. Oh, that's a Harry Potter reference. I should agree. They had so many different ways to get around. But yeah, no, they got traumatized. Okay, I think that's everything on this page. Okay, so probably some other. Probably should leave on this just in case I missed something. Oh, I'm glad they help you. I'm glad that they help you with that. Alright, we can probably just poke a little bit into 7, not get super far on that. Yeah, for this one I think they're black flames. With the green outline or something like that. Do special lines as well. Fire. Let's make a little bit of progress into page 7 before I stop. Well, I kind of want to show off page 8 because I have a really cool angle on there. Maybe I'll just show that one at the end even if we don't get to it. Just to show it off. Wait, that's the main character lines. Here's this party. And kind of rough tutorial too. Yeah, definitely the or I'll say owning Chris's soul thing is gonna come back to bite them later. Beneficial now, but not forever. Yep, it'll suck. I know some people have been like, oh, Chris is gonna kill Toriel and Asphor. Don't think that would actually happen. There will be things that prevent that. So. No, they're not actually dying, but it's still not good. Might get close, but not actually follow through. Oh yeah, like again, they might get kind of close. They might get scary for a bit, but in terms of actually it happening, probably not. Oh, and just as I finish that, is my break time, which means I probably should stop for now. Here, I'll show off the last page just because there's a cool cool shot on the last page. That I was like, yay, weird angles. As that opens. Otherwise, I need to get some lunch. Yeah, here we go with some. Ah! Of course, I show it off and I do the stupid zoom in thing. So, cool shot. Yay! Ah! I pushed something wrong. Alrighty. But yeah, I'll probably have to stop the stream for now so I can get some lunch. And take care of some other things. So, yay! We got most of the way through part 2. I also have to go back and finish all the backgrounds for part 1, which is taking a while. They will not get impaled. They will fall to safety. Just the big spires and all that stuff. Yay, cool shot. Yeah, I still have to go back and do the backgrounds for part 1. And then all the character lines for part 1. I've done the roughs for everything. At least the roughs are all down. Oh, from Psychonauts 2. Oh, I gotta play that sometime. Sometime in the future. Obviously, falling into darkness stuff is a motif with Eldritchrune in general. So we gotta reference that here. Ugh, I need some water. I'm talking so much. But yeah, I think that is it for our stuff for now. I don't know when the next drawing stream will be, because I'm probably going to be super busy this week, starting up a new episode. I have to work on that. I will do more Ghost Trick on Friday, of course, unless something comes up. But maybe I can stream again on Sunday, if I'm lucky. But I think I might have another busy weekend coming up, so may or may not. Depends on my workload. But hopefully I can do it again next Sunday. We'll find out. Yeah, design is super fun for that game. But yeah, I'm glad we got pretty far into this. We got to show off more cool parts. So we make progress with this comic. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming to the stream, and for following, or subscribing, and for just chatting with me on this lovely morning. So, hope you all have a good rest of the weekend. Yeah, I look forward to it being finished too. I have no clue when it's going to be, because this is, again, a very long one. A lot of detail going on, very complicated. So, it might be another couple weeks before it's finished, especially with my workload picking up quite a bit. I made pretty good progress in the time I had, so that's really good. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming to the stream. I super appreciate it. I will definitely see you all Friday for more Ghost Trick. And I hope you all have a good day. And I'll see you all later. Thanks a bunch. Alright, bye-bye.